Welcome to self-discoverywisdom.com, formerly known as Self-Discovery Media. On these podcasts, you're going to hear people who speak from the heart. They've taken the journey in life. Many things have happened to them, but they've changed it to happening for them. And in their strength, their courage, they've discovered their abilities and their wisdom, and they are now sharing it here with you. Do enjoy each show. We bring it to you with love and knowing that it's going to help you on your journey of life. Out of it. She said many widows struggle with brain fog and walk through life like zombies when their spouse passes away. Many never get past their depression. I spent countless hours reading self-help books, spent thousands of dollars on courses which allow me to overcome my depression and loneliness. My mission is to help 1 million widows to have that high pressure jobs, learn to cope, survive, and thrive in life again. To live, to love, to survive, and to thrive. I know she is a survivor, a widow, a servant leader, from owning a successful dental practice to receiving a master's award from the Academy of General Dentistry. And she has dominated the dentistry world in California for over 30 years. But when she's not providing dental care, she is a community volunteer, sister, and friend. So we're going to be talking about widowhood today, and it is a difficult one for many people because when you divorce, it's a choice, right? But you know that you can't make that road anymore, and it's an honoring of each other to move on. But when somebody is taken from you, it's a different scenario altogether. And there's so many reactions that you go through, why, how did this happen? How do I cope? And you've got all the logistics of everything that is happening as well, maybe a lack of salary coming in. What about all the paperwork? The whole tutti frutti. And it's you're in a sense of numbing. And so it's like all these pressures are coming at you at once. And I would imagine for a long time, it doesn't kind of quite feel real. Welcome to the show, Kimberly.
Thank you for having me, Sarah.
So did it feel real fast, or was it something that you had to go through the process, and when it was all over, then you find yourself alone when everybody's left, and then you find, oh my God, it's real?
Oh yeah, some days it still doesn't seem real. Some days I feel like, oh, I can turn around and he'll be, but he's never coming back. And what I noticed is that my dogs really were the ones that could see it happening.
Yes. How long has it been for you?
It's been 3 years and a half.
And how did he pass, hun?
So my husband had a double lung transplant, and that in itself is a miraculous recovery. He lived for 21 years after that. And so we celebrated his birthday year of his lung transplant as well as his regular birthday. So for 21 years, he lived with a lung transplant, and it was a chronic, illness of cystic fibrosis. So we knew that there was limited time. And that still doesn't help.
No.
When it really happens.
No. I mean, the rationale, I know when borrowed time is what we make out of it and all of that, but when it actually does happen, nobody's ever ready for it, are they?
No, nobody is. Nobody is. No matter how much you plan ahead, no matter, even like my husband, he planned. He knew. He had me do very difficult things, like situations where normally the husband would do it, but the wife, he was making the wife do it. And it was because he wanted to make sure I could survive on my own.
Yeah. My mom was a widow. My dad died when I was 11. And we kind of knew it was going to happen. He had his first heart attack at 40. And they gave him 3 or 4 months to live. And my dad was a fighter pilot in the war, and he kind of took it on as if he was fighting an enemy. And instead of instead of them saying, change your diet, change your lifestyle, reduce your stress, in those days, because this is the 60s, it was just a death sentence. And he lived for another 4.5 years before he died of a massive heart attack at the age of 45. And my mum was ill prepared because he didn't prepare her, because he was, come on, death, come and get me. And he allowed people like his brother and a close friend, an attorney, to manipulate the will, and it was a dreadful will, just absolutely dreadful, horrific. My mom wasn't even in it, and there a lot of manipulation going on by him, but he didn't bring her into it. And I think this is the hard thing: is if somebody, your partner is gone, right, and that you've got to deal with, but now you're dealing with the ill-prepared. A will may be written or not written, right? Probate or not. And there's all the after fact that you've got to deal with as well.
Yes. When it was inevitable, there was times where, 5 years down the road before he passed, his doctor was saying, oh, well, maybe you should make a trust or a will, or even the records that, what happens if you become incapacitated, right? And it was hard to do that, but we worked through it. We read, some of the hospitals, if you go to a hospital, or you go to your physician, they will have a medical directive in a booklet. And a lot of times people say, oh no, I could do it later. But you know what? It really does help. And we sat down and we did a little bit at a time, and we worked through the whole paperwork. And, it really helped. It spelled out a lot of things, especially when others, like loved ones, parents, siblings, asked, well, what about this? What about that? Well, you know what? It's all there. That's what he wanted.
Yes.
And there was no question about it because it was in his handwriting, And there are times when people say, oh, he really want that? Nah, he did. Well, it was there, so that's what we went by.
And if you can do that, if you know that somebody is facing that and they can go through that, I would say the same goes for dementia. When people are first diagnosed with dementia, it is the same thing. Get things in order. Choose a place that you will eventually go to, so that the people sending you there when they can't cope with you anymore don't feel guilty and don't feel they're sending you away. You chose it. Right?
Yes.
And you've put all the paperwork together, you've done everything while you're cognitive. And then later on, when you don't have that choice anymore, it's not the burden on the loved one. A lot of people, you're Oriental, my ex-husband was Oriental, didn't believe in wills. Somehow writing a will was inviting death, and his parents didn't write one and he wouldn't write one. And but then you're just leaving somebody in a big mess, aren't you?
Yes, you definitely are. My husband was Caucasian, and he even didn't want to do that, but we ended up doing it. He was more open to it than, let's say, my dad or my brothers on my side of the family. But yes, there's certain traditional ways that you go about doing something in our culture. But then, basically, when it comes right down to it, it wasn't written. So how do you know?
Yes,
right?
exactly.
So we decided to write everything down.
It doesn't matter that you knew that, maybe one day this would come and you prepared for it. And obviously when the day came, it's still just as hard. But for people who are kind of healthy, my dad was 45, wasn't necessarily healthy, obviously, because he had heart attacks, but there's a lot of people, maybe a car accident or something happens and they've got young children at home and they think, oh, I've got time. I don't need to do that yet. And it's that if you are, I think kind of when you get married, I think it's something that you need to get down between the two of you. Should one of us not make it, and then you don't end up, as you said, with other family members imposing what should be and shouldn't be, because it's already difficult enough. The last thing you need is the bickering from family members coming in saying, no, they didn't want that. They wanted this. Black and white, it's there. I always recommend to people do a video with a timestamp on it as to what they want, and make sure that that is with a lawyer, with somebody legal. But we don't think about that. But do you think that COVID has made people think about that more?
Probably. I think so, because that was so difficult of a time for everybody in the world.
Yes.
To go through and know that could happen to you. 1 minute you're healthy and then the next week you're not. And you can go fast.
Yes. Yes.
You have to prepare. You really do. I mean, no matter what, our society is such that, we're happy-go-lucky. We just do what we want to do. But when it comes right down to it, we need to really make sure that we're prepared for things.
You insure your car, you insure your house, you could have a life insurance, but it's like, don't leave it, don't assume. I think that's what COVID did, is for a lot of people, where it hit a lot of very healthy people. Don't assume that it's not going to happen to you. A reason why an accident is called an accident, because accidents do happen. And
definitely,
what if somebody is in a coma? What choices do you have as a partner? Right? And if that person is, I do not resuscitate or something, that's their choice. And then the poor partner hasn't got the choice to pull the plug and then always feel guilty about it. So I think you were lucky in that sense that you both faced it, that you knew one day that it would come. Yes. And you were prepared for it. But I think that is a cautionary tale to everyone listening, isn't it? Get, your ducks in a row and make sure that it's all written down, so that you're not imposing on top of the grief all the other anxieties that come along with it.
And it gives you a sense of security too, knowing, like we're already busy with life. Yes. And I'm a busy business owner. I own a dental office. I had like 9 employees at the time. And, having that one little bit of information, which was a lot, helped me help myself and help others around me to do what was necessary. And even that being said, if you can control one thing, that's easier to get through the rest of the day. Why not do it?
Exactly. I mean, losing a loved one, if you have children, you've got their grief, and everybody grieves in a different way at a different time period. There is no, this is your template for grieving. We can show people, what to expect in grieving, and that it's okay to feel that way, or it's okay to say, no, I just don't want to be a part of something. But we've also got to be careful in the grieving that we don't get so into our grief that we lose ourselves and don't know how to get back out again.
Yeah.
How did you work through it?
So, I had my dog. And my dog needed me no matter what. Didn't say much to me, but I could tell that, he needed me. My dog would make me get up in the morning. My dog would make me get up so that I could walk him, so that I could feed him And it really did help that I had somebody or something helping me through it. I don't have kids, so that was my dependent. That thing depended on me for their life.
Yeah.
And their survival. So that was one situation that, I'm so lucky that I had a pet to give my emotion to.
Yes.
And
yes.
be helping that pet. The second thing that I do is I make sure that I eat healthy. I try to exercise or stretch every day, and I give myself self-affirmations.
Yeah, that's important. Going back to the pet, my dad, we had a dog and she'd go to work with dad every day. So of course, when dad died, there was no going to work. And she kind of would lie outside the door where his body still was before it was taken away and kind of guard it. And then afterwards, it's like she knew he had gone and that she knew that she had to step up now and guard the family, right? And step up and be part of the family, and which she took very seriously. And it's, a pet is they're grieving too. They're grieving too, but there is a mutual understanding of the loss and that unquestionable, undying love that they give you. It's just, you don't need the words. Just that look that they give you, that paw they give you when they come and snuggle you. It is just that something, isn't it? That like, what I'm going through. You're going through it too. We're in this together and we don't need words for it.
Yeah.
Where if you have children, it's a little harder because they're going through their own emotions. And it's like a little harder because they've got their own reaction, maybe do they go back to school now? Or, it's navigating their road as well as your own grief. And I think it's, as I said, each person will grieve in a different way. I went back to boarding school a week or so later after my dad died. And I remember at boarding school, actually, kids calling me a liar because they said, your dad didn't die. And my headmistress sent me out of class and spoke to them all on no uncertain terms. But kids can be cruel. And so when kids go back to school and they've lost someone they love, right? You don't know, are they getting support or are they getting bullied? Do they want to come home and tell us because they don't want to upset you because they already know you're upset? And so I think it's like call in the extended family, call in the people that are masters at this and say, I need help. I don't know what I'm doing right now. I just need support. And that is okay to do it, isn't it?
Especially somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
That knows what you're going through, that's done it before, that, everybody has two for certains. We're born and we die. And anything in between is our journey.
Yes, absolutely. And what we do with that journey is our choice, right? And we can't help things that happen to us, right? But we can help how we choose to look at it and what to do with it. And I think I'm one of those people that when somebody dies, I'm one of the first people they call because I'm a little matter of fact about death. For me, it's the end of the body, not the end of the spirit. The spirit's gone home. And it's like that person, the effect that they had on you will always be with you. And you just have to call upon it at any time. What you're mourning is the physicality of that person being there, but the spirit of that person is always there. But there's still that adjustment. And, some people just need to hear that. Some people just need a shoulder to cry on or someone to take up some slack and help them through the process. But a lot of people don't know how to go to people when they've lost someone because they don't know what to say. Right? What would you recommend they say?
When somebody asks you how you're feeling, you need to really tell them if you are feeling bad or if you're feeling good. Or, we are all programmed to say, if somebody asks you how you doing, you say, oh, I'm doing okay. Or, are you really though?
Yeah.
You really need to tell them what you are feeling. because that's the only way they can help you.
Exactly.
If you are having a bad day, why not tell them, yeah, I'm having a bad day? Not dwell upon it, but say, yeah, I'm having a bad day. So then people most of the time are willing to support you in some way. Like if you're having a bad day, wouldn't your best friend want to help you do something?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're programmed not to ask for help. Martyrdom, especially females. Would you say?
And I know a lot of people, it's just, I feel helpless, so I don't say anything. And it's just, I think just say to someone, I don't know what you need. Can you tell me what you need? And I'm here for you. And the other person may say, I don't know what I need, but just be here for me.
Yes.
Right?
Allow that person to say, just be here for you.
Yeah.
Even if you're a friend and your best friend or your friend was the one that lost somebody, you could ask them, like, if you don't want me to do anything, I'll just be here and allow them, because maybe they don't want to tell you.
Yeah.
Also, that they need something. So.
And some people get so caught up in the grief that they take to their bed or they shut themselves in. And I think then they kind of need those good friends to say, we're going for a walk or we're going for lunch. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. I'm dragging you out of here. I don't want to go. But, when they do get out there, they kind of realize they're back in the land of the living and they need to get out there, but they will protest because they kind of got so caught up in the grief that
Yes.
they've lost sight of the light, so to speak.
Yes, and I don't know if you do this or not, but there are personality types. Okay, and you might be acting in your personality type, and you might need a different personality type to get you out of the personality type that you're stuck in.
Yeah.
Right. In other words, if you're normally a driver and something like this happens to you, you're going to act in a driver type of way. Maybe you need a steady or analytical to come help you, or opposite, you know what I mean? And
yeah, like the true colors, the 4 key personality traits, right? So you've got
exactly.
analytical, you've got foundational, which is management, you've got people that are very innovative, and you've got people that are very spiritual. And whoever the person is, if you know what they are, don't come to them if you're all analytical and you're coming too analytical and the person isn't that way inclined. They don't want your analytics, right? They just,
right.
Well, how can you bring them out of where they're at, and speak to them in their personality type language that they're going to actually hear.
That's
So
right.
you're right. Very good
and
point that, because
that's what I've been helping people with understanding.
that's really good. Because a lot of people will come at it, well, I did this or I did that. Well, that's you. That's not me. So now you're imposing you on top of me. And if instead you just come to it and look, I've noticed that this is what's happening with you. I just want to take you for a walk. Or let's go grocery shopping. Let's go and do something. Let's get you out there. This is what I found that helped me. How about you give it a try and see if it helps you? Right? So it's being able to offer something without imposing it, making it feel like an imposition, because the last thing a person wants to feel is if they're being bullied into something.
That's right. That is absolutely right. And it's the person's decision ultimately, but you can always help by seeing it in their eyes.
Yeah. And that requires you to step outside of yourself. All right. What would I do in this situation? If you really know this person, then you're going to know their reaction is most likely going to be A, B, C, and D. Well, don't come with an F, G, H, and
right.
and completely speak gobbledygook to them. Is where do you meet them? And like what do you think if you could say if the shoe was on the other foot, what would you do for me? Right? And now you're actually empowering them to actually have empowerment over themselves. And which, because if like your dog, I have to get up for my dog. I have to take my dog for a walk. I have to feed her. I have to be there for her. Right? So it is when somebody else says to you, if it was me, what would you do? Then it allows you to kind of engage in to being proactive, isn't it?
Definitely. And being proactive is really good for the friend to
Mm-hmm.
be in.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the person that it's happening to cannot be proactive.
Yeah. No, no. And just because, time has passed, I mean, what we have to be careful of is that people get so into despair that they go down that rabbit hole and they can't come back into the land of living. But it's also some people can spring back quickly, it appears, but that's their way of keeping busy so they don't go down the rabbit hole. And so we need to recognize what kind of personality type people are, right?
That's right.
Because if
The
they're a person that I need to go back to work, I need to be proactive. Oh, no, you need time for grieving. No, I've got the time. I go home alone, right? But I need that time to occupy my mind so that my spirit can do the grieving. And like for you, it's 3 years. And obviously, you still very much miss your husband and you still have those grieving tendencies there because now you understand and you want to help other people. It doesn't mean that we're over it completely by a certain period of time. It just means the pain is less.
Yes, by all means, it's you're never really going to get over the whole thing, but
Mhm.
the pain is less. You learn to do things to help yourself.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And help others. I think in helping others, it helps yourself, doesn't it?
Oh, it certainly does. I wrote a book and that helped me get out of certain things as well. I,
Why did you call it the grid?
well, it was a memorial to my husband.
Hmm.
He was a very much survivalist in the
Hmm.
fact that he loved to go out in the wilderness and, he was a search and rescue
Ah,
person. He volunteered for search and rescue in our community for 8 years. And it was kind of a tribute to him
hmm.
to do that.
It's a beautiful tribute, and that's a way of keeping his memory alive, right? You're sharing what part of him is in you and keeping that alive in other people's eyes. But I think it's also important that just because somebody's gone, it shouldn't just be the people that was closest to them to remember them. I think, by keeping the story alive, whether it be a book, whether it be a talk, whatever it be, keeping a program alive or people doing a legacy in someone's
Mhm.
name, it's respecting the journey that that person's had, their contribution that they've left behind.
Mhm. Yeah, because, you know, being that sick for that long with the transplant, he didn't have much uh, time during the day to really have a real job,
Mhm.
you know, and he spent lots of time doing things for the community because he could have time for that. And that's what he appreciated.
Yeah.
He loved nature,
Mhm.
life, and animals.
Mhm. So that was his purpose.
Yes, his
Mhm.
purpose. And
Well,
my
that's
purpose,
what life is about, right? Finding a
yeah,
purpose. Yeah.
exactly. And my purpose, obviously, it is, to stay healthy and, share. But also, my purpose is to share his life
Hmm.
too, because he told me that I have to do that for him.
Hmm. Yeah.
He said, I don't want, I told him, you should go share your story because it's an amazing story. Only 200 people in the whole US get to have a lung transplant of that nature in the whole
Mm.
world. like in the whole US every year. There's only 200. And so,
And he survived 21 years, which is
mhm.
great. And I don't know if it was the lungs gave up or it was something else.
Well, it probably was a combination of things, and immune system, because
Hmm.
he had to take medication in order to survive. And so I've always had a mission to try to get do natural things to get the body's immunity better
Hmm.
and to survive longer and have a better lifespan, a healthier lifespan,
Hmm.
right? And so, with that being said, I think that it was a tribute, especially for me, to share with the world survival and balance of life in the book, as well as surviving after your loved one.
Hmm. Yeah, I interviewed a gentleman here who was actually a singer. He's a crooner and never smoked, but got sick from secondhand smoke, and he had a double lung transplant.
Oh,
Fortunately,
wow.
successfully, and I don't know how many years ago, maybe 10 now or more. But I'm hoping he's going to have longevity. But it is, you're right, the immune system. And it's not just, my previous show today was with a doctor that actually started teaching his patients how to be well. And he actually got blacklisted because he's not practicing sickness, he's practicing wellness now. And so, the medical system is brilliant. The fact that you can give someone double lung transplant, which is absolutely amazing, heart transplants, and many other things, absolutely incredible. But at the same time, we don't teach people wellness, sustainable wellness, and that is keeping inflammation down, looking at our immune system and how opulent it is. And it's not just the body, it's the mind and the psyche as well. And all of it needs to be optimized, and running at high optimum. And we need to really look at that and, whether people are going to get out of this, whatever health issues they have, if they understand you've got to keep your immune system strong. And it's not just in one area, it's in the whole of you. That means your stress level down, your joy level up, right? That meaningful purpose in life and nutrients that you take in, the foods that you eat, the attitude that you have. All of that is part of that survival, isn't it? Or thrival, as I like to call
Oh,
it.
totally. Yes, live, love, survive, thrive. That's my
Hmm.
motto now.
Yeah. And it's a lot of people just kind of leave it up to the doctors and go, well, now that they've done their job, it's okay now. No, no, now it's your turn. And now you've got to do your job of maintaining that
That's
gift
right.
that they've
Like
given you.
in the dental office, you get your teeth cleaned once every 6 months most of the
Exactly.
time, right?
Hmm.
Well, that's only like maybe 10% of your whole cleaning your body, your teeth.
Hmm.
The rest of it is 90% is you're at home doing it yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Maintenance, right?
Maintenance.
What
So
happens to
in
our
that
car if we don't
aspect, you
maintain? It
can,
breaks down, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
in that aspect, you can help yourself a little bit to,
Hmm.
you know, have a healthier outcome
Yeah.
in certain things.
Yes. Whatever you're faced with, and this is there are some people, I mean, there's people after COVID who have ended up with long-term, detriments due to it, fog or lung problems or this or that. And it's like, it doesn't mean it's a death sentence, but it definitely makes it look at life differently. And what do I need to do to support my body, to support my life? But even if I'm single or not with a spouse, um, have your life in order so that should anything happen, and I think everybody needs to look at that, whatever happens, that people aren't kind of picking up your mess, wondering what's going on. You've left something that makes sense, that
Mm-hmm.
gives them something to follow and organize. Otherwise, you're just leaving people in distress and grieving and without understanding what to do next.
Yeah.
So, what do you do for people who are grieving?
So my first thought is I give them a journal
Mm-hmm.
and I gift it to them and I say, hey, this is your journal that we want you to write things down. Um, I give them a sense of thoughtfulness, helping them through their times, listening. Because you know what? A lot of times you just have to sit and listen, and the person will help you tell you what they need.
Mm-hmm.
They'll often solve their own situation as long as you're listening and really paying attention to what they're telling you.
Mm-hmm.
My gift is that I'm a good listener.
Mm-hmm. And giving that space. I mean, sometimes it's just people thinking out loud, right? But
Mm-hmm.
somebody's there to be witness to it.
Mm-hmm. And helping you organize your thoughts, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Yeah. Because, obviously when you're in a state of grief and, why did this happen? Or this is different to what I thought it was going to be, and all of those emotions, everything that's going to come out of you is almost going to be jumbled because your thoughts are just going, right? And
Mm-hmm.
having that witness that just doesn't matter what comes out, whether it's in the journal or you're talking to someone, let it just all come out. You need to have it out. And then you
Mm-hmm.
can start looking at it one bit at a time.
That's exactly right. That's
And
exactly.
support, be supportive. What does that person need? Maybe a cup of tea at that time. Have you eaten lately? Let's make a meal. It's just letting people know that you're there for them and that you care.
Mm-hmm. I love to go on walks in
Mm-hmm.
my neighborhood or go on a little mini hike to just like breathe fresh air and go see nature, see the birds running around or a squirrel running down the tree or,
Mm-hmm.
you know, those things makes me feel at ease and at peace,
Yeah, connected. Mm-hmm.
connected to the world, connected to life.
Yeah. That's the gift of nature. Never mind the support it gives us, but the emotional support that it gives us. Because it reminds us that life does move on, right? And just because your book of life is at a finish, it doesn't mean that, the next person's book isn't still going. And
Mhm.
a lot of people emotionally die with their partners. And that's not what a partner wants, right? They
No, a
want you to go
partner
on and
wants
live.
you
Yeah.
to go on and live.
Mm-hmm.
Here's one thing that I've done, and what I caution you guys to think about this, okay? So, what helped me was that I went to every place that my husband and I felt special,
Mm-hmm.
and I visited the place, and I took some ashes with me everywhere I went. And, you know, it helped me. I said hello and goodbye to the place,
Yes.
and I did something special of what we did together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And some people, that's my personality.
Yeah.
You could take it on as something else and do something else with that, but that's my personality. That made me feel better.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing that I still do is I have his cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of having my telephone line now, I have that cell phone as the home line,
Yeah.
right? So I keep that at home. And every once in a while, I will text the phone,
Mm-hmm.
and then I look at his phone and text it something back to me, and it makes me feel happy.
Yes. Yes.
But that's me.
Yes.
Find things that will help you get through your life.
Mm-hmm. Putting on a favorite sweater, right? You know,
Mhm.
there are some people, oh, the person's gone, you've got to get rid of everything. You know, they've gone now, you've got to let go. No, I mean, yes, you can pass certain things on, but there's things that you need to keep because they're a part of them that sometimes you just want to wrap yourself up in them. And it's not wallowing, it's just
Mm.
that form of connecting, isn't it? I feel you.
Yes. And I did that the other day. I had a fluffy sweatshirt,
Mhm.
and I picked it up because it was raining, and I thought, oh, let me go see in my closet what I have to wear to be snuggly and warm. And I saw that garment,
Mhm.
and I picked it up and I put it on, and I hadn't put it on since, he was gone.
Right.
And it made me feel so good. And I
Mhm.
wasn't wallowing.
No, no.
I just felt good.
Yes.
It made me smile.
Hmm. The, just, I mean, you spent so long together that, to just, oh, you're gone now and I've got to get on with my life without taking them with you. It's like you losing a part of you if you just cut them out of your life like that.
Hmm.
Being able to talk to them, being able to say, what do you think about this? Should I still do this? And in London, well, no, they've gone now. You let them go. No, no, no. It's let them still be a part of your journey, right?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I still have this big picture, and on his birthday, I like sit and eat his favorite food in front of his picture, and I have a conversation,
Right.
you know.
And
They
and
might think
that's
I'm cuckoo, but
no,
hey,
no,
you
no,
know
that's
what? I don't
healthy.
know.
That's
I think it's
healthy.
healthy.
Now, when it becomes unhealthy is when you get stuck too much in that you're not willing to open yourself up to other opportunities. A new love or making decisions and moving forward. There are some people that get too comfortable in that they don't want to kind of immerse themselves in the land of the living or open themselves up to new love. And yes, it all happens at a different time, but we've also got to be willing. I'm not gone. I'm still here. I've still got plenty to give. So I can open up. And if your partner and you really did share love, that partner goes, yes, I want you to love again. I want you to find that same happiness again. And when you do find that other person, it isn't about you leaving your last partner behind. It's them understanding that that last person is a part of you and they're also a part of this new relationship.
That's right. Yeah. Sometimes it helps if, you both have gone through the same kind of thing,
Yeah.
but other times it doesn't. There,
Yes.
you can find somebody that hasn't lost a love, and
Mhm.
they'd still be okay with you having parts of your life from your spouse from prior, or your significant other, or so forth.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And if you have a bad day and you're just feeling sad about missing the other person, this isn't in something on the person you're with now. It's just an old memory and you need a moment or two to be with it, right? And if this
hmm,
other person gets jealous, then that's their issue.
that's
Instead,
right.
they should be there. I'm going to give you that moment. I'm here when you're ready.
Definitely.
Because I think it's dishonoring people if we move on and now you can never mention that person. I live with somebody who's 90, and when she was 5.5, her twin sister died. And they kind of cut out the pictures, everything. Nothing was allowed to be said about this twin sister. And she
Wow.
had a brother 12 years later. He didn't even know there was another sister. She then lost her fiance 4 days before the wedding in a car accident. And they again cut everything out. No, no, he's out of your life. He's gone. Go on and live life. And it's no, when you love somebody that much, the worst thing you can do is just cut and slice and dice them out. It's how do you incorporate them in your life moving forward? Because that love doesn't leave you just because they've left you. How do you let that love strengthen you to move forward?
Yeah. And I often say sometimes, when I would talk to my patients about it, they were really um they really helped me through too.
Yes,
There were people that said, "Hey, how you doing?" I never thought that my patients would really take care of me because I take care of them,
right.
and they become a friend in that
Hmm.
way. anyway, there was a few patients that said, "Oh yeah, I find like a dime now, or I keep finding pennies around, and that's telling me that they are still around." And you know, what's interesting is that I started finding nickels.
He's up the game from pennies.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
There's always a way. I mean, people think, oh, they're gone, they're gone. No, A, they live inside of you, but also very often spirits want to stay with their loved ones to see them through that transition onto another energy. And they'll always leave little signs of the presence of being around. And so you can talk to them anytime, anywhere, but also be prepared to getting an answer in an obscure way.
Yeah. They might not be able to talk to you, but they can sure, be present
Yep,
somehow.
yep. And like an idea will come into your head. Well, that's them kind of saying something to your psyche that then comes to the forefront of your mind.
Definitely.
And you go, that was something that he would have said. Right? And then he actually probably did say it.
He probably did say it.
Yeah. Yeah. I said everybody grieves it in their own way. The thing is not to get stuck in grief and die with the person. But it's how to move on. How to move on and take them with you in a new dynamic. Because that person is always going to be with you. How do they move forward with you into your life now without them? And that's what the real learning is about, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, it definitely is. The first year is different than the second year, and the second year is different than the third year. And there's also layers upon layers about, when you have a business owner, what you do in that situation.
And for some people, it's been a radical change in their life. My mother, 2 years after my dad died, we moved to South Africa. And this woman became a totally different woman from being pearls and tweed and charity work. All of a sudden, I'm seeing her on the back of motorcycles, wearing wigs and partying and just grasping in life that her community and her society hadn't allowed to happen. Right. So my dad was a racing car driver, was a fighter pilot, was a pilot, and life was very much about go out and get. And then she suddenly went out and got. So they had to kind of believe that part of my dad was in there.
Was in there,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. It's time to get living, and I think that's, you see a lot of people that when they've lost somebody, they suddenly go and do something radically different. And oh, they're just grieving, and but sometimes it is that propelling someone forward, right?
That's right.
Which
Hey,
is
there's
okay.
no right or wrong,
No, no, no. I mean, how we move forward with the people that we've lost, whether it is spouse, whether it's a child. I've interviewed many people who have lost children. And what they've done is that they've done something, a charity, a legacy, or something in that child's name, and kind of continued to do something that kind of keeps the child alive in the sense of its own identity and the work that they do. And although they miss the child, they feel so proud in what the child now represents. It's keeping that child alive in a different way.
Yeah.
It just don't get stuck, right? That's the important thing. Don't get stuck.
Don't get stuck in that situation. Always have something. You do a legacy or do something that you can appreciate and have to think about.
Yeah. And a journal is a great way to start. And it doesn't matter. Do not look at whether your grammar or your spelling is right. It's just regurgitate. Get it down on the journal. Don't even read it back straight away. Remove yourself, come back and read it later. Right? And
yeah, my dad, for example, he is an advocate of journaling. He journaled, he's been journaling ever since I can remember. he remembers everything that happens. Like he gets his calendar and he writes things down of everything. So like if I asked him, "Oh, Dad, what happened like 10 years ago to this date?" He will go pick up his little journals and look for the date and say, "Oh, well, this happened and this happened and this happened."
It's a form of legacy,
Yes,
right? Which
it
is really
definitely
nice.
is.
I
He
mean,
could write a book if he wanted to.
exactly. You should encourage him to do so. Um, like I've got things of my mum. I have a picture of my mum here. Um, and I've just got little things around. I've got certain things of her, and very often I have a conversation with her. The behind me is a picture of my dog that one of the people I interviewed painted for me. Now she's been gone nearly 7 years, but she's still very much with me. And she was with me in a transition after my divorce of a new life, and so was my bestie. Um, and it's just because they're gone doesn't mean that essence of who they are and what they mean to you. Long after they're gone, you can still have that conversation, that feeling, that memory that makes you smile. And, it sometimes it's a little kick in the butt and going, well, are you feeling like that today? I'm not. Well, go and do something to feel like that. So memories are very important. And I think as far as people talking to other people, yes, listening, but then knowing when you need to kind of encourage someone to do something, even if it's like, you know what? I'm going to cook, you're going to go and have a shower or go and have a bath, right? Somewhere to get them out of something, because sometimes people become so numb, they just need someone else out there just instructing them to do the mundane things. Otherwise, they kind of just get so lost in it. And I think that's is recognizing what the person's going through at the time. You were prepared, even though it happened, the loss was still hard. But for some people, when they're not prepared and it happens suddenly, it's the shock of it happening is that they're not in grief yet. They're in shock. And we've got to know the difference.
Yeah. Well, even though I was so prepared, I still had vertigo for
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My body was still in shock.
Yes.
My brain could analytically know that, yeah, it's time, it happened, or whatever, but my body was in shock.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't matter how much you're prepared, for a loss, when the loss comes, it's there. And you don't know how you're going to react to it. Your mind, I'm very rational. I'm going to deal with this. But yeah, your body all those other personality things have their own voice and they're going to react to it. So,
and it's okay.
It is
it's
okay.
okay.
Let yourself go through the process, right?
That's right.
Yeah. And if people, around you say, isn't it time you snapped out of it by now? Just stay away from those people for a while, right? Or forever, depending. And just don't be around people that are going to keep feeding the pain, right? You want to be around people that are encouraging, but there are some people that simply do not understand, and they never will understand. Be around the people that care, that really do care, because if they push you, they know it's coming from a place of caring, right?
Mm-hmm.
And not, dictation. We don't want to be dictated to. We want people that are there because they care.
And find, groups in your community that do outreach that way.
Yes.
I mean, yes, there are groups that maybe keep you in a situation, but find the ones that will help you stretch yourself a little
Exactly.
bit.
Honor the process, but the word is process. Process through, right? To get to the other side where you can think of that person with love and care, maybe a little sadness, but not despair, right? Get to a point where you can take them with you in moving forward in life. It's all about moving forward. That's what we're meant to do, is move forward. How do we take that person with us on our journey of life in a new dynamic, in a new way, that they can be a part of that voice, that caringness,
right.
that love.
And it could be mental, it could be physical, it could be, like whatever you feel. Like whatever it is that gets you through, whether it's in your mental or if it's in a physical matter or if it's, everybody has their own way of going through and coping through it.
Yeah. So have you started dating yet?
Been on one date.
And that
And
felt
it's
strange?
not that I'm opposed to it. It
Yeah.
just hasn't happened exactly
Right.
right yet for me.
Yeah, and just as we say to people when they come out of a relationship like a divorce or a relationship, do not compare, right? You've
That's
got
right.
some people go out and they talk about their exes, and you're there to meet someone new. And yes, whatever has happened to you or whoever you've left behind is going to be a part of you. And if it's spoken in a positive way as a part of me, but not as a comparison, then that's going to open up to a better dating experience.
Yes. And my mother passed away about 12 years ago, and my father found a new spouse.
Mm-hmm.
And he used to tell me, she's not your mom.
Mm-hmm.
She's somebody else different than, it's a different life,
It says,
you
yes,
know.
different
You
chapter
know,
in the book. Yeah,
one was a teacher, one was something, and the other one's something else,
yeah,
let's say.
yeah,
And totally, it could be totally different, but my dad's happy.
yes.
And that's
That's the
all that
bottom line.
matters. He has
Yeah,
somebody to share a life with.
right. Exactly. And when you truly love someone, although you can't be there for them anymore, you want to know they're happy. You don't want them to, I want you miserable and unhappy for the rest of your life until you join me. What kind of relationship is that? No, you want
Mm-hmm.
somebody that I want you to have that joy. It will never be the same relationship. No, it will be a different relationship. And he has brought her to this relationship in the way to love, how to love, and the memory of love, right?
That's right.
Very
And
important.
their relationship is sort of he's showing her things that she's never done before, and for her it's showing him things that he's never done before.
Right. The exploration of life. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Life isn't over because we've lost somebody. It is an end of chapter, and there's a redefining of who you are now without them. But you have another chapter to write in life, many more chapters to write in life, right? And you take the wonderful joy and experience of that person you had in your life along with you in and immerse it into your new experience of life. It's not about you've gone to, right? It's and yes, you'll have days way down the road. I really, really miss them. And that's when you put the sweater on and have a good conversation with them. And then, you'll wake up the next day feeling a lot better.
Yes, life.
Hmm.
I challenge those people to think about what is it that they haven't gotten to do yet,
Mm.
or what is it that you and your late husband or wife or significant other wanted to do. Why don't you go do it
Yes.
so that you can, you know, finish what you thought about
Right.
starting?
Hmm.
I have this map that I got on, I believe it was Etsy. So it's like the map of the whole United States. And on the bottom it says where we've been, where Mark's been, where I've been, and where we want to go on the pen, right?
Hmm.
And so basically, there's things that we both wanted to do that we didn't get to do yet. Hey, I challenge you
Yeah.
to do those kind of things.
And
Like
take them
think
along
about what
with
you
you,
would
right?
want to,
They can still
yes,
experience it through
you
you,
could
right?
still
Mm.
experience it through
Hmm.
you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Think
And
about those ways. Think about outside the box.
yes, there isn't a box anyway. I mean, if you've put
Mm-mm.
yourself in a box, you put the lid on it. No one else. There is no box in life, folks. Every life is about flow, movement, and continuum. And it's this how you continue. You take that love and that experience and that joy that that person gave you and take it forward. If it's something that was a long illness before they die, don't remember the illness. Remember the joy and the time before the illness. The illness took its toll on you. You can let that one go, but remember why you were there in the first place.
Most definitely.
Mhm.
Most definitely.
So you have the book, and the book is available on Amazon, and the book is about his life and your life together.
Well, I made it a fiction novel,
Mm-hmm.
and
Or
it's
factual
about a
novel based
person
on
that
fact.
lost their loved one,
Right.
you know. And yes, there are things that are true in the story, but there's also things that I've taken from other people's experiences
Mhm.
too, because we live in an area where there was wildfire.
Mm,
And though I didn't lose my husband in the wildfire,
right.
there were wildfires in my area, and a lot of people can connect and understand the story.
Yeah.
And the second part is the survival outside of, the survival of the person is survival outside and in the wilderness. And in the back of the book, I have a lot of things that are like for a survival pack for your bug out bag that you
Mm,
or survival techniques for your pet, for your what you put in the back of your truck, or
right.
those kind of things. And I really love that part of the aspect because that was a memorial to my husband.
Mm-hmm. And an honor to the to what he loved out of life, which is important, right? So, as you said, I call these factional books. They're based on fact, but fictionalized, right? So,
Yes,
and so you've also got something free, a one-on-one 20-minute consultation session to help you start living your life again, and people can email you at.
that's right. They can email me at Kimberly at drkimberlyhubenette.com.
I've also got Live Loves, um,
Live, love, survive, thrive at gmail.com
right, and your website is.
is live, love, survive, thrive.com.
Okay, and also Dr. Kimberly, your surname, which is HUBENETTE.com. And of course, you're on the social medias with your full name as well.
Yes, Kimberly
Excellent.
Hubenette, Dr. Kimberly Hubenette.
Great. Well, it's sad that you lost your husband, but when you see people that have managed to live with someone for 50 years and you just go, oh, what a gift that would be. Right. And I always they say that it's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. And in some aspects, I do agree with that. It's hard to lose someone that you love, but then there's so many of us that have never felt truly loved. And hence the divorce or whatever. And you feel that I would love to experience some of that type of love. And that's what you hold on to, that kind of love. And whoever comes into your life next, they must match that love vibration, right?
Mm-hmm.
That, and
And they
that's
can
that's
add
what you
to it.
measure it at. Yeah.
Exactly. They can add to it
Yes.
your love
It's
in
the
your
next
life.
chapter of your life, the next adventure of your life. And, that's the important thing. So if you know somebody's had a loss, and you don't know what to say, just say, look, I don't know how to help you, but I'm here for you. Tell me what you need. And if they say, I don't know what I need, it's okay. I'm just here for you. I'm going to cook you a meal. I'm going to make you a cup of tea. I'm going to do something for you. Because very often they don't know what they want in that moment. They just don't know. So just do the obvious. Get food in them, get a cup of tea in them, get something in them, and just, go and have a shower. I'm here for you. Sometimes you have to just kind of take charge of the normal. And if there's kids around, or even I'm going to take the dog for a walk. Do you need groceries? I'll pick them up for you. There's so many little ways that we can help people in that initial stage. And even those stages down the road where, you want to be able to have a friend you can call up and say, I'm really missing him today. I need to go and do something. And, that friend said, yeah, we're going to go out. Let's go to one of his favorite places and celebrate it. Somebody who understands, right? That's the kind of thing
Mhm.
that we need. So be there for each other. And that's the important thing. And they can reach out to you for that free one-on-one 20-minute call and just, see where they're at and see where they're ready to go with you.
And if you want to talk to me about things, or if you want me just to listen and then give my feedback, I definitely am a great listener when it comes to those things.
Yeah.
I've been through
Sometimes
it.
that's all that person
I've
needs is, right? Just get it off
yes,
the
I've
chest.
been through it. I've lived it. I've survived it. And if you're in that situation where you really need some one-on-ones, I definitely am there to help.
Yeah. And, especially if anybody's coming from a cultural background, because it's a different type of grieving in many ways, isn't it? Because of the culture, or different type of pressures on them because of the culture. So, somebody coming from an Asian background, you understand also what they're up against with that as well, which, it can be very, very different to just plain, Western culture. And I think that having somebody that understands that makes a difference as well.
Oh, definitely. And coming from a multicultural
Yes.
background, like, I was married to a different culture, you
Hmm.
know?
Yeah.
And so even the dynamics of families, different families, what they do, what they think, it's it's very eye-opening.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And so there is no one size fits all. And so one has to, as you said, pay attention to whom you're speaking with or whom you're supporting. Just because you did it that way and it worked for you doesn't mean it's going to work for them. What do they need? Pay
Exactly.
attention as
It's
to what
what you
they need, right? So thank you so much for coming and sharing, Kimberly. And, I hope that there's a second date for you coming up soon, and that it's going to be fun and exciting to get back on that road again. And just, you'll always take him with you. He'll always be with you. And but it's nice to kind of show him, look, this is my new life. What do you think? Right? And that's that's okay. We never leave people behind. They always come with us, good or bad. They always go with us. So you may as well bring the joy with you, right?
right.
Okay, folks, so if you know somebody who's lost someone, it is important that you know how to speak to them, how to support them. Don't assume, please ask. If they're not ready to speak, just be there. Do they need something to eat or drink? Do they need the kids picked up? Do they need that casserole or the dog walked? Step into what they need and understand this is just the first of their needs. They've got a lot of different emotions that they're going to go through for a while, and just be there. Let them know that you are that reliable number that they can call anytime and just say, help, and you're there, right? You don't have to know it all. They just need to know that you're there for them. And that is something that's a very precious gift to someone when they've lost somebody. Just be there for them. So until next time, folks, bye for now. We hope that you enjoyed the show. There are so many more for you here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. Just go to the podcast tag at the top there and you will see all the many genres and all 3,000 shows ready for your listening. We are here to serve you, to help you on your journey of life, and we know that through inspiration it begets invitation. We are supported by you, the listeners, and those that we interview. Anything that you can spare us in donation would be greatly accepted, and we do hope that you enjoy the next show.